screaming. And at some point, I think it was in the later teens, I think I was coming up to being like 11 or 12. And my sister was about 16 or 17. My mother's primary way of controlling the situation, and I'm not proud of this at all, but my mother would sit on my sister, like literally. She would push her to the ground during an argument and sit on her to control the situation, because sometimes my sister was so out of control. I mean, think The Exorcist out of control, where the girl starts screaming and thrashing. You probably get it. My sister would go crazy. I think it was because she didn't feel like my mother could understand her communication or the lack of communication. So my mother would sit on her to subdue her. That entire scenario was so wrong. And I remember sometimes being in the same room, watching my mother sit on my sister, like literally sit on my sister. There are no way to put into words what kind of experience that is. I mean, most of the trauma I have from my childhood is listening to my parents and my sister screaming, arguing, yelling over trivial matters, arguing for 90 minutes about you won't do the math problem, and my sister unable to communicate. She can't because she doesn't understand. My mother was sometimes so intolerable. Sometimes I think it would have been better if one of them had just beat the other person up where they couldn't argue anymore. I mean, my house would have been a million times happier if one of them had died so they wouldn't have screamed for 20 years. I mean, my mother and sister screamed and argued, I would say and I don't remember before the age of sex, from 6 to 22 when I was 21. So about 15 years. Screaming, yelling, slamming doors. Sometimes she would have slammed a door, but my parents took it off the hinges. My home was so out of control. And now that I've been in therapy for more than 2 years, I believe my parents were very emotionally abusive to my sister. I mean, there was no kindness between my parents and my sister. I mean, getting angry at somebody with a learning disability is ridiculous. They can't help it. They can't help it if their brain doesn't compute fractions. And I think at the end of the day, my parents antagonized my sister.